speaker. So Amir for being the brave soul here to do this the first time. So really happy and excited to be here. As Amir mentioned, I'm a charter member and also a board member with TIE, and TIE Women is a very exciting program. So as we have started marketing for the program, we wanted to get someone really special here. In fact, two very special ladies. One of them is a past TIE Women program winner, and her name is Kalen. And in a minute, I'll have her introduce herself. And then we have Yasmine as well, who is a charter member of TIE Houston as well as a investor in Kalen's company. So why don't we start off with both of you giving a brief introduction?
Yeah, so my name's Kalen. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Informuta. And so my background is I actually did my PhD at Tulane in New Orleans and kind of did the foundational work for the company's core technology, spent a little over 4 years doing all the foundational science and early translational experiments, and then ended up founding the company in the third year of my PhD with my co-founder Leo. And our company is focused on diagnosing multi-drug resistant bacterial infections. And so specifically, we look at the DNA of bacteria, and within 24 hours, we can tell clinicians exactly what drug would or would not work to treat that infection. And what's really novel about what we do is we could actually, for the very first time, predict the future evolution of bacteria. So not just focusing in this moment, but what drug is going to work in a week from now or even a month from now. So yeah, the company was directly out of my PhD work, and that was kind of the inspiration with that. And now we've been doing it for a little over 2 years.
And my name's Yasmine Malik. As Tanu mentioned, I'm a Thai charter member and I'm an investor in Kalen's business. My background is in mergers and acquisitions from the finance side of things, and I got into angel investing late last year, and I met Kalen actually at the Thai Women event that was hosted in Houston last year. So that's how we got connected. And that's also how I became more interested in Thai actually, because I wasn't a charter member at the time. And so I was really excited to hear all of the different women share their companies and the innovation that they're spurring in the ecosystem as women. And I was very impressed with Kaylin and approached her actually at the end of the event. And that's how we got connected. And then just seeing the quality of companies at that Thai Women event really inspired me to connect with them year further. And I became a charter member actually this year.
Perfect, perfect. So, Kalen, you represented Thai Houston at eventually the Thai Women Global Pitch Competition in India, right? What was that experience like? How did it shape your journey as a founder?
Yeah, it was incredible. I think, firstly, it was my first time ever in India, so it was really fun. I kind of hung around for a week after with my wife and explored, so it was really cool to experience that. And then, but the actual pitch competition was a really awesome experience. I think every pitch competition is always a great experience as a founder to get out there, actually pitch your company and get real-time feedback from judges who are experts in the field, and also, I mean, really, it was a very large conference from people all around the world. And so I got to connect with a lot of people, for clinicians all around the world, people who work in diagnostics all around the world, and hear different perspectives and feedback. And I mean, I think really our company always has had a global lens, and we have huge interest in expanding globally. I mean, infectious disease obviously has no borders. So I think that it was really cool to get that early experience and start thinking about not just in the US markets, but how we would need to think long term of going global. And also to meet all the other women founders from all over the world was really cool, and get to make some new friends and hear and learn about everyone else's companies.
Awesome, awesome. So, Kalen, we always hear that, for as a female founder, it's really hard to raise capital. And so you have successfully kind of passed that magical $1 million mark. So what was that journey like? What were the biggest challenges you faced in getting to that point and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously, I think women founders definitely experience a unique set of challenges. I think that also, I think technical founders experience a unique set of challenges. I think both me and my co-founder Leo, were up against kind of a huge uphill climb to try to convince people that we were worth investing in. And I think that having no business background whatsoever, being a first-time founder, and kind of just like adapting from studying science and being on the path to be a professor to then shift and be an entrepreneur and then also be a woman on top of it, I think was a very, yeah, like uniquely difficult experience. But I think I actually enjoy fundraising, weirdly enough, but I think I love talking about the company. I love meeting new people and getting different perspectives. Obviously, it's a very long road and you have to be very kind of gritty and strong to go through it. You have to listen to a lot of no's and a lot of people kind of tell you a million reasons why they would never invest in you. It was definitely a long journey. I mean, I think to close the million, it took us a little over 8 months. So, and I think that it's also been kind of a hard market last year and it's not really looking any better. So I think that there's a lot of challenges, and I think that relying on a lot of mentorship, I think was really what got us through it, kind of leaning on founders who kind of been in similar situation, women who've ran companies, raised funds, and kind of what tactics worked for them is really what got me through it, and just kind of having a good support system when you've gotten your 100th no in 3 weeks and just feel like giving up.
Awesome, Kalen. And I know that you kind of, mentioned all the challenges, and when you're so close to it, it seems really difficult. But I just think about how many women have raised $1 million. It's probably 0.0001% of all people. So I think you should be very happy with where you're at. Just shifting to Yasmin, on the other hand, what drew you to Kalen? What was your thought process as you invested in her company?
Well, I'm sure as you've heard Kaylin speak, she's very impressive on her own. But what really sealed the deal for me was I had gone through the diligence process and felt really good about moving forward. But of course, at the end of the day, you are investing in the management team. And so I had a call with Kaylin and her business partner Leo, and what sealed the deal for me was their story and listening to their why. And it was just really incredible to hear Leo share his experience with having been hospitalized and how that tied into their story and into their why. And so I think this is a great opportunity, Kaylin, maybe for you to share a little bit about that story.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that it's really kind of crazy serendipitous timing of how it all played out. So I think that I mean, Leo and I invented the technology together, built it up during our PhDs. We've been friends since 2020, and we started collaborating together in kind of like late 2022, and everything kind of all came together in that fall of we had the idea. I kind of came to him. He does all of the software side of things, and I do all the wet lab. And so I kind of had a lot of data sets and had a lot of really awesome results so far, and came to him with the idea of adapting what he was working on, which he was focusing on cancer genomics, to try to apply it to bacteria because no one had done it before. And we had a couple months of some really cool results and really promising things. And then within a month, Tulane announced that they were dumping $10 million into an innovation institute and like trying to build up a startup ecosystem. And then Leo went in for a routine surgery and ended up getting a multi-drug resistant infection and was
Wow.
hospitalized for over 3 weeks, and almost died. And so I think we basically came out after the holidays in 2023, founded the company, entered our first pitch competition, won $1,500 and never looked back. And I think that it was just like the clear signal that we needed to do this.
It's a great story. Thanks for sharing it, Kalen.
Yeah, of course.
And Yasmin, in general, I know you mentioned a few, but what factors do you consider when backing early stage founders?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think most importantly, right, is are they solving a problem that no one has solved yet, right? That's kind of a no-brainer. And then what is the market size potential for them? So, those I would say are kind of the obvious things. But as I mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, you are putting your faith in the management team and in the founders. And so, if those kind of two initial boxes are checked in terms of are they solving a problem? Is this a large market opportunity for them? Really, I want to know who am I trusting my investment with? So spending time with the founders, really getting to know them, hearing that they are capable, they are smart, they are coachable, and they are really passionate about what they are doing. And I think, as Kalen just illustrated, with the experience that Leo went through, hearing that really, as I mentioned, sealed the deal for me because they do understand firsthand how important it is that they bring this product to market. They understand why it matters, and it is very personal to them. So, um, my conviction in the management team, I would say, is the most important factor.
That's a great segue into the next question, because I feel like this is such a personal, thing that you do when you invest in someone's company like that, and trust is such an important factor. What advice would you give to founders, looking to build that trust and long-term relationship with investors, especially women founders?
I would say, as we think about women founders, I think, women, I think we tend to put things off until we feel like they're perfect. So I think for women founders, it's really important to just put yourself out there, even if, you wouldn't say that your pitch is perfect, right? Because networking is really important. Making connections is important, as Caitlin shared with her experience going to India. Just all the connections she made alone, even if she left away, she left that pitch competition, having not been awarded any money. The connections that she made was potentially invaluable. So I think that that's really important, just to not be afraid to put yourself out there, to talk to people, let people know that what you're working on, and that's what's going to get you introductions to potential investors, to mentors. And it's also going to help you get feedback so that you can evolve your business plan, and think about your approach, what's working and what's not working.
Absolutely, absolutely. And especially talking about Thai women, and you mentioned a little bit about, getting to go to India to a big platform. But what do you think the program brings that is uniquely impactful for female founders and investors?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one-on-one mentorship leading up was really helpful. And I think Amir was fantastic at kind of connecting us to who would be really helpful for each individual company. Like I think that was one of the most impactful things for me leading up is actually just having, I think in any program, really the one-on-one mentorship is the most helpful, is really just having, because I think a lot of accelerators and stuff focus on like almost coursework, where you're kind of listening to 1 hour seminars. And I think that's great, especially if you're kind of first starting out and you really need that information dump. But I think, especially as you mature, the one-on-one mentorship is where you're going to get the most valuable feedback and kind of tailored, personalized coaching of what you really need. And I think also definitely the kind of in Houston pitch competition where we went in and presented in front of everybody, any exposure like that is always super helpful. And then obviously going to present on a global platform, I've never gotten to do anything like that. So that was really, really great.
Sounds like a great experience, Kellen. Yasmin, on the investor side of things, what's the one thing you wish more women knew, either about, investing in early stage ventures or becoming angel investors themselves?
Yeah, I would say you don't need to be an expert to get started. I know that's another thing that it of course is a generalization that women struggle with, is like, well, I don't know anything about this. How can I be an angel investor? And the truth is you just learn as you go. So if you have the capital, meaning you are an accredited investor, who, can become an angel investor, and you have the risk appetite because this is a very high risk asset class, as we all know, then, I would say go for it. There are a lot of really great angel network groups out there like Thai. And the benefit of joining those types of groups is that you get the collective wisdom. So, there are people like Tanu, right? You're in marketing, my background's in finance, right? So as you're going through diligence, you have the support of your peers who do have expertise in other areas, that maybe you don't, that you can lean on for support as you think about an investment opportunity. And I think for women, it's really important that we continue to build our wealth, to diversify our personal portfolios, and angel investing is a great way to do that, and hopefully produce an outsized return that you may not have access to otherwise.
As it's such a, I want to just re-emphasize two things that you said once earlier and once in this answer. The first thing about, wanting to have perfection before we venture out. Oh my God, yes, I think that is so true. And I think that's great advice to just kind of go out there and, wherever you're at, get advice from people and then use that to fine tune it versus kind of trying to do it on your own. Probably can you do it? Yes, it'll take you longer and you'll probably struggle more. So collective wisdom and raising your hand is at an early stage. I think that's great advice. And then I think secondly, when you said specifically about angel investing, again, the same sort of, hesitation as women, we tend to be like, well, maybe I don't have a PhD in angel investing, so I'm not going to go out there. So I think this is great coming from you saying, hey, you know what, even if you don't have a background, join an organization like TIE where you have other people, you have the expertise, you can kind of, do the due diligence from different angles. So that's just really great. Um, let's see, what else did I want to know from both of you? I guess from both of you, what's next for each of you? And how can, our audience that's listening in or somebody at Thai Houston get involved and support you?
Yeah, yeah, I can go first. So right now we're mainly focusing on, so we have two ongoing clinical trials, and we're looking to onboard more health systems kind of in that network, make more partnership with health systems. And we're also currently raising $3 million, which will get us to paid pilots next year, getting real world clinical utility evidence and also our health economic data. So if anyone's interested in either is a clinician, is interested in talking, or works in health systems and is interested in talking more about our products, and or if anyone is on the investment side, love to talk more.
Awesome.
Yeah, and for me, it's, continuing to support Kaylin, obviously. So as she shared, she's raising money right now. So continuing to support her in that effort, through Thai or any other. I'm also part of Houston Angel Network. So just letting people know what Kaylin's up to, and then also continuing to identify other investment opportunities for my own on my own behalf, of course. And if they are women-founded businesses, even better. So I'm so excited about the Thai women competition that we have coming up. I would say if anybody's interested in either becoming an angel investor, learning more, or they are a founder, I would say come to an event.
Mhm.
The applications are open right now for the Thai women pitch competition. I believe through June 15th is the deadline to apply. So if you are a startup and you are at least, I believe, 33% owned by a female founder, then you qualify to apply. And so I hope that this was very informative, and we would just love to see more engagement. Would love to see people at the Thai Women event when we release the date for the in-person Houston event, which is the same event last year where I met Kaylin.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And before we go to questions, just wanted to give you the platform a bit for sharing, what was the most exciting part or the best part about being part of Thai Women last year? Kaylin, we can start with you.
Oh gosh. I think probably, I think a couple things. I think definitely going to India was probably the most exciting thing, and actually having that experience, kind of like I was mentioning earlier. I think getting connected to new investors, obviously, like we're talking about right now, and meeting people who actually organically met us through this
Mm.
platform and then end up investing into the company. And then I think kind of getting just more connected in with the Houston ecosystem. I think we originally actually we're not in from Houston. We got originally connected to Houston through the Rice Business Plan competition. That's where I met Amir. And so it's been really nice to kind of continue that relationship and still have ties to Houston. We work with Houston Methodist. We're still trying to build ties with Texas Medical Center. And I think that I really love working with the Houston ecosystem. And I think that this was a really nice way to kind of continue growing that relationship.
That's a great point. I think, one of the reasons I think Thai in Houston has such a great opportunity for founders is because we have the biggest medical center in the country, right? So there's a lot going for it here. So, Yasmin, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I feel like Thai is just very unique in that I feel like it's very entrepreneurial in spirit. We have a great group of charter members who just want to support people. We want to support founders. We want to spur innovation, especially in Houston, for the Houston charter members. And so I think just the support, the camaraderie among the group, is just in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, it's unmatched. And of course, the access to deal flow, meeting people like Kalen, it's just, I feel like it's a very unique experience and it's hard to find that kind of opportunity elsewhere.
Amir, do you want to go to
Yes, so we have
questions?
some questions. So everybody that has questions, this is now the time we're going to open it up to you all. So please post your questions in the chat. We'll start with a question from Lippy Gandhi, and that is directed for Kaylin. So during your time with Thai Women, what part of your business were you able to develop the most? Market fit, the funding, what else?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that my time during the Thai Women program, I think that I focused a lot on definitely the pitch presentation, and also I'm trying to remember now that because it was a little while ago now. I think we were focusing a lot on go to market and I think we were in a time we were trying to figure out exactly what our go-to-market like patient indication was. And also something that we have a rather like actually kind of looking under the hood and looking how the technology works. We have a very complex technology. Like it's very hard to break down and explain if people actually want to know exactly how it works. And so I think it was really nice. And I worked with a couple other like technical founders with the mentorship. And so that was something I worked a lot on during the pitch presentation, is how to um, kind of make everything more accessible in terms of the pitch presentation. And I think that's something I'm always working on, but that was definitely something I worked on a lot during this program.
That's a great thing because Kaylin, in throughout my career as well, I always joke that I can speak engineering and I can speak R&D because that's the piece, right? How do you take what the very deep scientific knowledge that you have, but then how do you take it in a way that it's simplistic to say, oh well, boil it down to like explaining it to your grandma or a 5-year-old. But if you simplify it too much, then you risk losing credibility. So it's kind of that balance of, how do you have enough jargon, but not too much.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
I'm glad you got to work on that. Any other questions?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna add, I think she did a really great job of that, obviously, because my background is not in healthcare. My background is I've seen a lot of different businesses across a lot of different industries, but not specifically healthcare, and I have a finance background. So the fact that I was able to understand her business, to the level that I was comfortable writing a check, I think speaks a lot.
Great validation. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Kalen, I'm gonna ask you. I received a thank you from this year's Rise Business Plan competition second place winner, which walked away with 300K in checks from the Rise Business Plan competition, and that was Vienna Sparks from MabLab. She credited you for being
Hmm.
open to speak with her and sort of coach her before the competition. And so just if you could speak to that sort of goodwill that, I think is sometimes not really leveraged by founders, of like asking founders that have sort of been in your shoes before. I don't know if you had the chance to do that, but if you could just speak to like, how that came about and your experience sort of mentoring Vienna and helping her, walk away with 300K in prizes at the Rise Business Plan competition.
I know they cleaned up. But yeah, no, I think that something kind of to echo what Yasmin was saying earlier is I think that's something that I'm very glad that we did that early on is we kind of didn't really have the ego or pride problem. Like we went and talked to everybody that would talk to us as soon as we even thought about starting the company. And that was the most helpful thing in the world. And I think that if anyone ever asks me anything, I'm always will make the time in my day to like review a pitch or talk to them about my experience or anything. And I think especially with Tulane, like I've judged a lot of their pitch competitions. I've helped a lot of founders who are kind of in my shoes where I was 2.5 years ago now. And so I think like I'm very thankful that people gave me their time of day. So I'm happy to give my time of day. And I also love the experience of mentoring, and it's really lovely to see people kind of grow on their journey. But yeah, I think I actually, me and Vienna did the same NSF I-Corps program. So we met a while ago, and then we ran into each other again just in the small startup world.
Hmm.
And they got into the Tulane business model competition, which Leo and I won last year. And so I was helping them with that. And then they obviously got into Rice. So I was helping them with both of those. And they cleaned up at both. They won first place at Tulane too. So
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and shout out to Mab Lab. That's Vienna Sparks out of Columbia University and Harvard University with her partner. They won the Thai University 2024 pitch competition. So shout out to Vienna and Mab Lab, and thank you, Kaylin, for being such a just generous entrepreneur and sharing that availability to support the folks that are following in your footsteps, and of course, even I'm sure you're willing to help out founders that are maybe even ahead of you, but have specific questions that you might have domain expertise to support them on. So this is a question that I really like. So Smriti Agarwal, who is a longtime Thai supporter and a past Thai women's finalist, asks a question to Kalen. And so I'll preface this with last year was Ty Houston's first time to participate in the Thai Women program. In the spirit of entrepreneurship, in the spirit of constant improvement, what can Ty Houston do better to support our candidates
Great question.
and support our candidates and of course support the companies in the program.
ooh, that's a good question. I think that I felt very supported throughout the whole program. I think that um okay, so I think the I think everything I had I think that there are minimal things to improve on. I think that overall the experience was um like very helpful. The mentorship was really helpful, and the access to mentorship I think was the most helpful part. And I think that even with being the first year, there were a lot of people who stepped up to be mentors. And so I think that was actually like really impressive with how much Houston was able to accomplish with just the first year. I think two things I would suggest for improvement. So the first, um, I think actually being there at the global competition, if there could
Mm,
be like a couple or even one charter member there to like help or just be there to support for the pitch
mhm,
competition, I think would be really helpful. And then the second thing is, if there could be like a logistics helping of just like how, because I actually almost missed my flight because I didn't print out my visa to India and I didn't know you had to do that. So,
and
so
that is
maybe just like just a white paper on logistics of just helping the founder out of what how to get there, and once you're there, just some logistics things would be
yeah,
great.
that's great feedback. Where I'm curious, and I wasn't part of the whole program back then. Where was it held last year? In India,
It was
Oh,
in Bangalore,
Bangalore.
India, and
in
this year it's
Bangalore.
going to be held December 2025 in Rajasthan, also back in India. Our TieGlobal Summit is not always in India. It rotates city after city, but
Mm.
this time around we're having back-to-back years in India. And that is also well, just that's where our Thai University global competition will also take place. So going back to the comments, we have a question from Michael Hanna, thanking you, Kalen, for this. So looking back, is there anything you would have approached differently if you were starting from scratch? Or are there any hurdles you now realize that you could have avoided with this perspective that you now have gained?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think there's anything in particular I would change about anything that we've done. I think that there's, I think we've definitely made mistakes along the road. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think that those were good mistakes that we should make in order to learn. And I think also we definitely, I mean, we've changed our plan from the original plan we made in January 2023. I mean, countless times. And I think that, but that's what you're supposed to do is like go out and talk to people and talk to who would buy this and learn and adapt and incorporate new information you learn. I think like obviously if I knew what I knew now, I would have started way differently and been a lot more efficient. But I think that the things that it was kind of like they were essential steps and essential kind of mistakes to make along the journey. And I think I learned a lot while kind of encountering those obstacles. Um, I don't think there's anything like a glaring error that we made. Thankfully, I definitely know founders who have. And I think the reason why is because we talked to so many founders early on. And we were really lucky that we actually had a good friend who um it was one of the more recent like two-lane successful spinouts. And so we leaned on him a lot. And I would just like text him every day of like, what should we do? How should we structure this? I mean, I actually am going to call him tomorrow, like trying to talk about the current fundraise and just relying on those people to pick their brains so you don't make the same mistakes that other people have. And but I don't think I can point to like a specific glaring error, unfortunately, or fortunately.
All right. So the next question I have is for you, Yasmin. And this is a tough one. Uh, how do we get more women investors in the ecosystem and involved in supporting other female founders?
Yeah, I mean,
Real loaded question. Good luck with that one.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to go. I mean, okay, this isn't answering the question. This is more of like why this happens, in my opinion, has a lot to do with how women are socialized. We are not encouraged to be risk takers, whereas men are. And so I think that's why we see a lot of times men are more financially successful oftentimes than women. And so I think in order to get more women involved as angel investors and investing in general, really has to do with just empowering women and changing the conversations that we have, especially as we are raising daughters. And, I'm not a mother, but I have nieces, right? And just empowering them to be bold, to be fearless. I mean, obviously, you want to be careful and make prudent decisions, right? Informed decisions, but really, it's about taking risk and just changing the conversation and the way that we socialize women in general, I think is really important.
Thank you, Yasmin. And I'll provide a quick shout out to a sort of a longtime supporter of Thai and a supporter of Thai women, and that's Samina Farid. She spoke at our last year's event, was the keynote speaker, and she's a successful, serial entrepreneur, a successful investor. She leads the Houston chapter of Golden Seeds, which exclusively invests in women founders and also supports female investors in the journey of becoming an angel investor in companies. So quick shout out to Samina and thank you for participating in last year and this year's Thai Women program. Um, Let me look back to the questions. All right. Um, I think we are wrapping up on questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your last opportunity to ask.
I have I have a question. It's a crazy
Sure.
one. So Kalen and maybe Yasmin as an investor as well, right? Like when you close your eyes and you set your vision, like where do you see? The sky is the limit. Do you see yourself on the cover of Fortune magazine? Informuta is like I don't know, a $1 billion company. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I mean, I think obviously the goal that we're working towards in the the ultimate kind of pie in the sky hope and dream is um obviously I think really actually the because I think a lot of people would think I'd say that we're going to use this for every infection, and that's actually not my answer because I think that there's a time and place for different technologies when treating infections. I think that we're going after a very specific wedge of patients and very specific wedge of infections for a reason. And I think we have a huge wedge to expand in. And I think that I would like to see every high risk patient, every high risk infection using this automatically frontline because I think that's what they need to. And I think clinicians need that information to treat patients the best and have the highest chance of survival. I think long term, so that's kind of my you know, patient story is I would like this to be used and
Mhm.
everyone who really needs it. Um, my kind of like company success story really is I think long term we're accumulating the both the genomic and then the paired clinical outcome data. And um my kind of tangent of how I view the overall global health crisis of antibiotic resistance is I honestly view it very grim. This is why I'm dedicating my life to it. And I think there's a lot of problems. You have kind of three prongs of how you need to tackle this, or four, I guess you'd say, is you need the diagnostics, which we're obviously doing right now, the vaccines, so preventative, you need the analytics, so looking at population health and tracking things. And then you obviously need drugs to treat patients. So everyone in pharma has pulled out of making antibiotics in the last 15 years. So no one's making antibiotics. Multi-drug resistance is getting worse and worse. It's predicted to be the number one killer by 2050. And there's some vaccine development. So I think the biggest solution we have to this is making a massive data kind of pool of the genomic and the clinical data, and then using kind of the artificial intelligence to then reinvigorate the vaccine development, the antibiotic development, because we need a faster way to kind of bring drugs to market. Otherwise, this is going to be looking like the pre-penicillin era in 30 years. And I don't want that. You don't want that. No one wants that. So that's kind of if I could do anything to leave an impact on the world, that's what I'd like to do with this.
Great, great.
Yeah, I would say for me, obviously I'm in it for my own personal gain, right? I want to continue to accumulate wealth. But it's not only for my personal benefit, right? It's to be able to put my dollars to work and support people like Kalen who are having a positive impact on the world. And I do believe that if we have more women founders like Kalen, and we have more women in the C-suite, then we are creating positive change in the world because I do believe that women are uniquely positioned to lead, and having the capital to support them, to put them in that position is very important. And so I feel very fortunate to be a small part of that, hopefully, bringing more women into leadership positions.
Awesome. Thank you. Amir, over to you.
Yes, so thank you all for a tremendous session. This was awesome, 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 awesome. For our very first LinkedIn Live, you know, we had an audience. It wasn't just an audience of just us. So thank you all to the audience for the questions. Please encourage someone in your network to apply to, the plethora of programs available at Thai Houston. Today we spotlighted our Thai Women program, which applications are due by June 15th. One thing I'll just briefly say about the applications, get them in. Whether even if it's not the perfect application, we're gonna talk to you. We're gonna talk to all our applicants. So get your applications in, even if it's bare bones, even if right now you just have an idea and not really a business, get your application in. By the time we talk to you and by the time we select, that is months from now. And so we'll talk to you sooner than then, but by the time we select, it's not until September. And so you have a lot of time over the summer to build up your progress and on your idea or on your business. And so the numbers will change, your business will change, and that's the natural evolution of entrepreneurship. But one of my mentors, Dr. Ravi Brumbat, likes to say, just show up, and showing up is 90% of success. And so, by showing up in our application pool, you're going to have access to mentors. You're going to have access to, founders that are in your shoes. And one, just to note, our Thai University program applications are right around the corner as well, with a May 31st deadline, so sooner there. And yes, if you are a female founder that is in university, yes, you can apply to both. Unfortunately, yes, you have to apply to both if you want to be considered for both. It's not not a common application where you can apply to one and get accepted into both. So, just thank you all. Any closing comments, Kalen, Tanu, Yasmine, before we wrap up?
Something I was gonna say, just based on what the kind of one of the themes on this is, I think it's really kind of to echo the importance of women getting involved in angel investing, because I'm sure a lot of people for the stats of, less than 2% of women get venture capital. And I think that you obviously, I mean, especially with a company like ours, like you need investment to do what we're doing. I can't just go out and start selling this. Like we need to go through regulatory approvals. So you need capital from somewhere. And I think that there's a huge, obviously, systemic disadvantage for women. And a lot of that changes from getting women on the other side of the check writing. And I think this is a really great program and helps kind of get to the bottom of where that systemic disadvantage comes from.
Yes, and if you are interested in becoming an angel investor and you're a woman, look into whether or not you meet the SEC definition of an accredited investor. If you are married, your joint income counts. So I encourage everybody to look into that.
And I think having both of you ladies here is such a beautiful example of that, right? Having a female founder and then having, a female investor, kind of going back to what you were saying, Kellen, getting more people, more founders, more female founders in the mix, but then also getting more female funders and investors in the mix. I think I firmly believe women solve more problems because we're closer to things. So I'm a big supporter there too. But I think this was such a wonderful conversation. I learned so many new things. So thanks for putting me in, Amir. But this was wonderful.
Well, thanks so much for having us and really appreciated the opportunity to share our stories.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we'll close today's session. Get your applications in, make your LinkedIn connections, and ask for help. We're here to help. So, with that, good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.